I think the most important thing about the Michelin star was not as much the fact that I got it, but that my mom was able to be there when I got handed my Michelin star.
Amazing.
She ended up passing away like 3 months after. So to have her be able to have Danielle actually was there and like tell her, you know, how proud he was of her son and of her and both her sons, because my brother's my partner at Sushi Noz, and I think he might be one of the youngest Michelin star recipients ever. He was 24 Amazing. When he got the Michelin star, or 25. I remember that day I got to shake Thomas Keller's hand, I got to shake Jose Andres' hand, I got to shake all these crazy people's hands and just like be in a room and like have my name up there with like some of my idols. And that was obviously a life career defining moment. I remember my girlfriend picked me up from the airport. I couldn't invite her to the dinner because I had like only limited amount of tickets to invite people, and she picked me up from the airport with like nice like Michelin Man sign, and it was
nice.
Like, it was really special, and I still to this day cherish that. But it was really cool and it was really inspiring. But when you get the taste of one Michelin star, it makes you even want more. Let me know when we're ready to roll.
Oh, we're ready.
We're ready.
Go.
You're live and in demand.
This is happening. Welcome to Pan Con Podcast. I'm Nick Jiménez, and I'm joined by 8th grade basketball MVP.
That's what I'm talking about.
Michael Beltran.
No, that's what the fuck I'm talking about.
And this episode's guest, restaurateur David Foulquier. Welcome to our last guest of 2020.
Yeah, man. You're the last one.
What an honor.
Wow, what a way to cap it off, Nick. Nice work.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice work.
Thanks to Carluba. Carluba was he set this up.
Oh, the Luba? The Luba did this?
This is the Luba special.
The
He's
Luba
not even
Luba.
here to get lubed up.
Yeah. We're trying to keep the plane on track here, so, you know.
This is where I step away.
Yeah, all right, Nick. See you later.
Goodbye.
Man, we've known each other for a while now.
It's been a minute.
I know. And it's, I have to say that Fooq's was always a place that I enjoyed going to.
Thank you.
For the last, how long has it been open now?
6 years.
6 years. Man, that is, in restaurant years, that's like 7 years a year.
Dude, I
right?
feel like a dog.
I know. I
It's
feel
like 6 times 7. No, my restaurant's 42.
Yeah, like Ariete turns 5 in January, and I'm just like, fuck, it's only been 5 years? Like, fuck me sideways, dude.
Big time.
Thanks for being on the show.
Honor.
I don't know where we should start. I think it's a good place to start talking a little bit about what inspired the opening of Fooq's to begin with. And let's talk, because we have people that aren't actually from here that listen to this crazy shit. So Fooq's is in a small corner of downtown Miami that no one would expect anything other than strip clubs and bars to be in.
Yes.
And so to find a nice dining establishment in that area, for some people be like, what? Whoa, that's weird. But I always very much enjoyed it. So, and I know a lot of other people did. So what inspired the thought process there?
I grew up in New York City. Full-blown Manhattan kid, born and raised. So you kind of get exposed to a lot of shit in the city that you maybe don't get exposed to living in other places. And I remember having, very distinct memories as a 10, 12-year-old going out to eat with my parents and, having them take me out to like the cool, trendy places that were popping off downtown in Chelsea in the meatpacking district at the time, and as well as, neighborhood restaurants that were being run by really cool sole proprietors that were kind of the guys that ran the show.
Right.
Which was like a very old school restaurant thing when you actually had a restaurant where the owner was actually on the floor, coming to shake your hand.
Weird.
Pour your wine and ask you how you're doing. It's a little thing called hospitality.
Weird.
Very bizarre. In this age of digital third-party delivery systems and corporate chains. But I got really inspired by that, and I thought that it was a lifestyle that seemed at the time as a 12-year-old vaguely, naively really cool. And I was always kind of a host and a party thrower from my youngest ages, and my family were always kind of like the family whose house had the open door for all the homies. And we had a Persian and French household, so the French side of it was very food oriented, making sure that every dish that we ate, every piece of food on the plate was always delicious. And then the Persian hospitality is, as open-armed and as kind of just homey as it gets. And I used to have, 20, 30 people family get-togethers multiple times a week at the house, and it kind of taught me how to be a host and how to make sure that you're always prepared for people coming in the door, and that even if you weren't prepared, you made it work, and that there was always extra food on the table, and that it was always a kind of a place that all the homies were excited to come hang out at.
Right.
And that was from a young age. I remember I had couple of my best friends when we were like 13. I have this distinct memory of getting in a taxi cab with them one day, leaving school, and like one of them telling me like, "David, you're gonna own a restaurant one day." I don't know how that came up, or
he cursed you.
She cursed me.
Yeah, she cursed you. Welcome.
Yeah, big time. and then I kind of just got it in my head, and then in senior year in my high school, we had a really liberal, chill high school where senior year for the last 3 months you basically got to just pick a project and throw yourselves into your senior project rather than have to go to math class and whatever else there was. And I happened to pick cooking. So I picked a cooking school at the time. I think it was the Institute of Culinary Education in New York that offered basic knife skills classes, basic French technique, basic Italian food. And it was a 2-month or 3-month intensive kind of every day going to learn the basics. And when I finished those 3 months, I remember, making dinner for my teacher. It was, I had to prove the concept that I learned what I did, and she was impressed, and I was impressed, and I was like, oh, maybe there's something to this whole cooking thing. And I had it in the back of my mind, and then that fall, I moved down to University of Miami, which is where I started my education. And obviously, getting to Miami as an 18-year-old from the Northeast,
welcome.
It was
party time.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't know how much time I spent at school, or if I was there, it was at the pool.
Yeah, nice.
Doing what I had to do at the UM pool, and hanging out on South Beach, and getting involved with promoting and becoming friends with the local restaurant owners and asking questions, and always just being curious about, how and why and, where and when, and all the questions that you should never ask, but, couldn't help but asking.
Right.
And that summer when I was going home and I needed to get a job for the summer, I kind of was naturally inclined to try to get a job in the restaurant business. And my mom and my dad came to America as immigrants in the late 70s, early 80s. At the same time as a certain chef
Yvonne, can you tell her to fire me another Negroni? Thank you.
With a certain chef by the name of Daniel Boulou.
Yeah, I know that.
And they were. He was basically closest family friend, mentor for us growing up. We would do family Thanksgiving dinners together, and he gave me my first chef's jacket for my bar mitzvah when I was 13, and made a speech that he was going to eat at my restaurant one day, and I had no fucking idea that was going to turn into reality. But I remember calling him up, and I told him, I'm like, listen, Danielle, I really want to work in the restaurant business. I don't know why, but I do. And I think I'd be good at it. But my parents told me I could do anything but the restaurant business. So he told me, he said, David, tell them to meet me at DBGB's in 2 hours. Right. And I took my mom and dad. I'm like, guys, certain someone wants to talk to you. And he sat us down, and he basically told them, listen, your kid's not crazy. This is a business that's actually becoming a little bit different than what it was historically. And Miami is a great city for the business. It's a great hospitality town where people have, this culture engraved of hospitality that I think he'd be able to succeed at. And so they gave me the thumbs up, and he set up a 3-month stage for me, essentially tossing me in every level of the restaurants that he owned at the time. So I got to spend a little time in the front of the house, learning from the managers and the captains, and spend some time in the back of house, peeling shrimp and watching and getting yelled at for even touching or looking at something.
Don't stand that way.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Turn away.
Literally.
Yeah.
Every day.
I know it.
And it was cool, man. It was cool. I got to lace up and wear some Crocs and cry myself to sleep at night because I got bitched at by some angry Frenchmen. And learn the inequalities and all the things that are fucked with this business. But I very quickly brought that with me into my sophomore year in college, where I was starting to realize that I had to get my shit together a little bit, and that class was really a thing.
Yeah, you actually had to attend.
I had to
class.
attend.
Yeah.
Second, so I was academic probation.
I lived in academic probation in college.
So I found a way. I was like, you got to do what you got to do. I found a way, and halfway through my sophomore year, I realized that, as much as I was a hurricane and bled green and orange and loved the University of Miami and everything that it represented, it just wasn't offering me.
You want anything else, Dave?
Yeah, I'll do a Johnny Walker ginger ale.
Ooh, Johnny Walker ginger ale.
Oh, yeah, it's the ease of the problems.
Yeah.
What
such a simple man.
You're reminding me of some fucked up times. So
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. So I had to figure out a way to make it work, and I knew that it wasn't going to be studying international relations and political science. And
Isn't that so fucked though? Like, you go to college. I mean, I changed my major like 3 times. And the whole time I knew, because I had worked in restaurants already for like 3 years in college, I was like, I don't want to do any of this shit. The only thing I like is working in that shitty restaurant that I worked in. Isn't that wild? And you still go through the system. Right? And you still do it, and it's like, fuck, why? Like,
how old are you now?
35.
Okay.
Yeah,
and it's older than me.
And it's just like, you think about it, when I look back on it, I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? I mean, I did it because I wanted to play football.
Right.
Like, I didn't care about anything else.
I see your pictures. You were
a beast. And I didn't care about anything else. I was a kid, but you still you went to class, and I'm gonna be a criminology major. Like, for what? What are you gonna do with that?
Nobody really actually ever becomes a criminology anything.
Right. Only the people on Law and Order and
Horatio Kane.
Right. So
I just got our man.
And we can we insert the small dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I fuck it up every time, but it's true. We should just insert it. We'll get a cease and desist later. We're small potatoes. They don't give a fuck. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
So I ended up realizing that I had to switch it up if there was going to be any shot of me finishing 4 years of anything. So I found the hospitality program at FIU, which I'm very grateful for. Big ups to FIU. They gave us almost $10,000 in hospitality industry relief money to take care of my staff this year.
They actually did the same for me after some rocky start, but yeah.
Oh, yeah? I have to say, I guess being one of their START alumni who goes there and teaches classes and stuff, I was able to get preferential treatment. And I'll tell you
a little story, and the only reason why I'll tell you is because it's you and whatever. But so at the beginning of the pandemic, I was obviously grasping at all straws to try to figure out how the fuck are we gonna get through this?
Yeah,
and there's no sign of government help yet. What are we gonna do? So I started picking on people.
Right.
And I picked on Lee Schrager.
Oh yeah, not a good guy to pick on.
Actually, I'm totally okay with picking on him, and I'll do it again.
Okay. Thank you.
And I
he's a nice guy.
Sure.
Only ever been nothing but good to me.
Yeah, I mean he's fine, I guess. I feel like myself and some other people that were on that kind of tangent those couple days on Twitter really lit a fire under everyone's ass to realize hey, you guys have the money and have been doing very well using a lot of our resources for a very long time, and it's time for us to get some help. And I do give them credit that they did answer the call, and they did very well, and I thank them for that profusely. I hope, and I don't know, and I wouldn't speak for anyone, but I hope they would have done it without us, myself and a few other people, really lighting that fire those couple days.
Well, I'm glad you did it, man.
I mean, it wasn't just me. There was several people, but it's I just hope they would have done it without us. And I don't know the answer to that question, and I probably never will because we'll never get an actual answer. But maybe we can ask Lee to be on the show. Maybe. Nick's doesn't want to be a part of this podcast today, so it's fine. But sorry.
I mean, yeah, it was FIU definitely. Like you said, we've definitely all given the festival our heart and soul and a lot of our dollars and a So, every year you do what you got to do for these people. So it makes sense they hook you back up. But FIU always was really good to me. And they gave me an opportunity to study what I loved.
Yeah.
And get access to really high quality professors. And at the end of the day, if you don't go to Lausanne or to Cornell Hospitality, FIU is probably the next best thing you can get. So
I mean, isn't it known as the number one hospitality school in the country? Or
after Ithaca, after Cornell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after Cornell.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, I think at this point our resources, we got the chaplains and Southern Wine and Spirits, who obviously donate a bunch of money to the school and make sure that we have great facilities, we have great professors. I got really lucky and got to have one of the original founders of Burger King as one of my restaurant development teachers, who had been at the school for like 40 years. The guy was a dinosaur. And I got to have some really killer wine guys who essentially put me through sommelier training. I ended up with a beverage minor and basically took the sommelier exam in college and learned everything about spirits and wine and beer making. And as a 23-year-old, I definitely felt like I came out of there with a lot.
Right.
And set me on my way to working in the restaurant business. I tried to continue my studies since I didn't really go abroad during college. And I'd seen a lot of my buddies that were doing that and going to study in cool places like Israel and France and Italy.
But were they really studying?
How to have fun.
Yeah, there you go. I remember seeing that too, and I was just like, man, I don't have money for that, but that does look fucking fun. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it was definitely, it made me envious.
Yeah.
So when I finished, I kind of told my dad, I was like, listen, Dad, I don't really care about a graduation present. Just if anything, help me be able to go abroad and give me an opportunity to go learn how to cook more. Mm. And I found a program in Spain at Hoffman Cooking School, which was a cooking school in Barcelona that had a Michelin-starred restaurant attached to it, where basically the kids would alternate their time between school and the kitchen, and they would be directed by former Michelin-star CDCs, execs, and sous, and would basically run a lunch and dinner operation where the first year would run lunch and the second year would run dinner, and then they would host stagiaires who wanted to come for 3, 6, 8, 9-month periods,
right,
but not be enrolled in the school. And since I already had my diploma, studying was pointless. So it was just about going there and getting an opportunity to basically learn fine dining from the pros. Mm. And it was a really cool crash course. I was there for 3 months, learning how to cook and, learning all the real ins and outs of classical French and classical Spanish dining. That was really cool. I was going, anytime I had a minute, I was going around the city, trying any place that I could, loading up my camera roll with pictures of everything from silverware to napkins and table runners and chairs and bathroom
Isn't it crazy?
sinks. And
when I go to restaurants, I'm this guy. Like, I look around and I get the plate, and I'm just like, oh man, I've never heard of that. It's just like, oh, the silverware. Like, what the fuck is this? It's just, it becomes like part of the thing that you do when as soon as you sit down, you start to digest the whole restaurant and like, oh, that's nice. I never thought about that. It's like, oh, this glass, I've never seen this before. This plate, like, I ate at a
whole lot of plagiarism in this business.
Whatever, man. Like, some people have good ideas, and you're just like, where did you get this fucking plate from? Like, fuck. Yeah. So, the other day I dined at Robuchon, the one downstairs.
Jardinier.
Yeah, and I thought it was fantastic.
Really good.
Yeah, extremely good. But all the plates were beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. They're like a brand called Nico, which I had never seen before.
Probably quite pricey.
That's to say the least, yeah.
$75 a plate.
Yeah, I thought I would. I remember when I started this thing 5 years ago, I was like, I'll never do that. Fuck. We have a couple plates. We have a couple bowls now that are like $60 each.
Oh, my God.
And we have a couple plates that are like $130 each. Now, they stay in my office only for tastings, but they're beautiful. Right. It just becomes part of the artistry, I guess.
Yeah, man, that's part of there's obviously at our level, Fooq's, Ariete, which I consider, casual fine dining, which is, we're not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. If you break a plate, I don't want you to feel like shit about it.
Right.
If my dishwasher breaks a plate, I don't want him to feel like shit about it. But
I think the best way to explain casual fine dining is like, people can come in here in jeans and a t-shirt, right?
And have a duck a la presse.
Right. Like, there's no...
Escoffier 101.
Right. I don't want them to feel like, I don't need you in a 3-piece suit. It's cool if you come in one. I'm totally okay with that. But if you come in jeans and a t-shirt, because that's usually how I dine too, like, I don't think less of you. So to me, that's what casual fine dining really means, is like you're getting all of the perks, not necessarily the price point though. But your experience is something more than just like a regular like casual
Elevated.
experience. Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man. And Barcelona for me was really cool, eye-opening experience. At the time, modernist cuisine was really making a big push out there. I learned the art of sous videing and the use of tweezers and the idea of manipulating food in ways that we didn't make it something that wasn't really what it was, but made you think it was something. And I remember, running back every day and just like being mind blown. It was like every day was like an acid trip. Like I just learned something new, every day. I was like, whoa. And I ended up buying a set of Shun knives at the Boqueria because I maybe 2 weeks after getting there, I was like bumming people's knives and shit, and it's just not kosher to do that in the kitchen.
It's not.
And then I showed up
That's
like
not
an idiot
okay.
with like expensive ass knives. Felt even like a bigger idiot. 'Cause, what are you gonna do with a bunch of fucking expensive knives? They're gonna fucking get stolen or break in a kitchen.
Right.
But I remember, first 2 weeks just left sliced and diced. My hands were just like all chopped up.
You feel gratified, I feel.
Hey, that's how the knife lets you know that it's
Right.
yours, You got to leave your blood on it. And if it doesn't draw blood, it ain't yours.
That's right.
And I remember one day I was filleting, I don't know if it was like a whole monkfish or some kind of...
Ooh, I love monkfish.
Yeah, some kind of cod or monkfish situation. And I was like on the fish butcher duty that day. And I was just having so much fun. Like, it was so therapeutic to just like slice away at this fish and just like not fuck it up or fuck it up, but just know that like I just broke down a fish.
Right.
Something that I'd never done before. And I remember leaving that day and I was like, damn, how am I going to learn how to do this better?
Right.
And my first thought, I had always been a big Japan head.
Yeah.
I'd always loved sushi, and I remember at the time, having watched the Jiro Dreams of Sushi movie.
Oh, what a movie. I've seen it at least 20 times.
Peter Berg, what a legend. That was like the predecessor to Chef's Table.
Yeah. It did set the tone for what food television should be.
Really did.
Right.
It was phenomenal. That was a game changer movie.
And honestly, every time I see it, I feel like it's the first time.
Right? It still holds up.
It's just, I feel like it's the first time. I feel as inspired as I did the first time. And I can't say the same thing about the Chef's Table stuff because there's some chefs I just don't connect with.
Right.
But
it's also become a little just like overdone.
I don't know if
It's
that's
like McDonald's now. They just
I don't know if that's the case. Just people want it so bad
Yeah.
that they just want to turn it out. And it's like that first season of Chef's Table was so dramatic and so intense that you loved it.
Yeah, that Francis Malman episode.
Yeah. Francis is a legend.
As good as it gets.
Yeah. The Hero Dreams of Sushi it's just about like one man and his mission and how simple the mission may be, but that simplicity is so difficult. Yeah. And that's really what makes that style of cuisine so special. And that's what I tell people. And they're just like, yeah, we're going to open up a sushi restaurant. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not going to open a sushi restaurant. You're going to open up an American sushi restaurant. You're going to open up what you think a sushi restaurant is. But it's not real sushi.
No.
It's just, and that's when you lose people,
100%.
It's
I mean, listen, it's hard to like grasp obviously what it takes. It's like you said, like the tension is in the simplicity, in the details. And that movie, I remember, I remember telling my dad, I'm like, Dad, I don't want this to end. I just had the best 3 months of my life. How can I continue this and learn maybe visit a whole other part of the world? And I found this sushi academy in Tokyo.
Cool.
That was basically like a 2-month program to become like a certified sushi chef, whatever that means. Where you basically spend like 10 hours a day in a half Japanese, half international class with real Japanese sushi masters, teaching you the basics all the way to, breaking down every different kind of fish that's traditionally used in Japanese cuisine. And you learn how to make nigiri, you learn how to make maki, you learn the whole 9 yards. so I did that for a couple months and had a blast. Got to explore Japan a little bit. Every time I had a shot, again, was doing the same thing. Every time I had time going out, try to eat at whatever place I could, discover new flavors, meet new people. I ended up making a great connection with a guy who is 3 Michelin-star chef in Tokyo, and ended up being one of the best relationships that ever happened to me, because it introduced me to my head chef and my partner Nozomu Abe, who actually partnered with me to open a real sushi restaurant.
A real one. One of the actual real ones.
One of the actual real ones that actually does it the exact same way as the guy Jiro did it.
Which is amazing.
Which is insane. And, we have created our own little version of Jiro Dreams of Sushi. It's a little tasty video that got like 30 million views on YouTube. And an eater video that got another 15 million views. So, our process is well documented, and it's really the right way of doing things. And I guess that's for a later point in the story. But yeah, then I ended up coming back from Japan, and I worked at OTC for Mike Sullivan, and spent some time working at Gigi's when Gigi's was still cool. And
that's good. I like that. It was cool for like 2 years.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool for like 2 years. I remember I used to go there often. And
mushroom buns and
and then it took a hard nosedive. It was a hard nosedive, but yeah, it was cool for a while, and the food was good.
Oh, it was really avant-garde at the time for Miami.
Right.
You're going back at a time when like Miami really had nothing.
Right.
And
it had something, just not a lot of something.
Not a lot, yeah. I was getting chewed out, trying to be a server on the floor, dealing with like a bunch of fucking Hialeah people coming out and bitching me out, and a bunch of idiots just giving me shit all day.
At 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I got axed for like standing up for a woman chef in the kitchen who had gotten really badly berated by someone whose name is going to remain unsaid. But I stood up for someone.
Blonde guy?
Nah, maybe. I stood up for her and ended up getting on the chop block because I stood up for someone treating a woman like shit in a kitchen. It was just not something that I was used to. Like, you can bitch me out all you want. Like, I'm a grown-ass man and I got tough skin, but like a mother of 2, like who's just trying her best to get by doesn't deserve to be. I don't care how you call me sexist or whatever, but I just have respect for women in a way that I think maybe I'm willing to bitch you out, but I'm not going to bitch, someone who could be my mom out.
Fair.
And that was kind of eye-opening for me at the time. And I ended up moving on, and I met Nicole Votano, who was my opening chef at Fooq's, and I basically had a feeling that she was trying to take a next step in her career, and I was trying to take my next step, and I basically told her, listen, I want to open a restaurant, I love your food, I know I'm only 24, but I promise you that I'm going to be committed to this, and my goal is to get Michelin stars and be the best at what I do. And she believed in me, and we went through the due diligence and trusted the process, and ended up buying Nemesis restaurant from Micah Edelstein, who was a former Top Chef competitor, and a friend of mine at the time. And I remember dining there and it kind of being like my date spot where I would bring girls.
Yeah, I went there quite a few times.
Yeah, it was sexy, It was like you walking
the
over
church pews as like actual,
which I still have in the restaurant.
You do?
One of them, yeah, at the entrance. I sanded it down and made it look
different.
Oh
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, and you would be walking over homeless people like they were landmines to get into a restaurant and go spend $100 on dinner and a bottle of wine.
Yep.
It was a very unique thing at the time. The corner bar was just starting to kind of be a thing. I had been there, a handful of times at that time.
I've been there way more than a handful of times that I'd like to mention.
Oh, yeah.
I think
at the time, it was still relatively innocent. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
Right. Whenever a place closed at 8 in the morning, there's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting I think I paid like $100,000 for the keys at the time, which now kind of seems like in COVID times a bad deal, but I guess pre-COVID times was a good deal. And I
everything in perspective, you look back 2020 vision, you're like, maybe I should have done. I understand that feeling.
Yeah, but I was able to basically inherit a fully functioning restaurant. You know, I got
Which is
everything
rare.
from the stove to the oven to the refrigerators. All the refrigerators are still intact at the restaurant. My Blodgett oven that she bought used, it was like a 1992
Blodgett's are
Blodgett.
good, man. I have two of them.
Those things are ripped, man.
Yeah, they're good.
I've had like a couple issues with them 2 times over 6 years and had immediate support from them, and they gave me the pieces, fixed them up. She's my old faithful. And then, I swapped out stove, and I did some redecorating and built a new bar. And, over the course of the last several years, I've obviously added and made the place more and more cozy. But that kind of was 6 years ago, and I opened in early 2015. And then we got immediately, the place blew up. After a year, Nicole rode out, and I was forced to try to pivot. And that's when I benefited from Michael Schwartz basically just chopping everyone and anyone that was at Cypress Room.
I don't know about chopping, but chopped a lot, and a lot of people walked away.
Yeah, a lot of people walked.
Chopped the top 2 heads, and then the rest of them walked.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah. And I kind of got a lot of heat from him for it, which I think we made up since then. But
He'll be fine.
I was able to just pick up a couple free agents that were ready, willing, and able. And Roel, our mutual bro, came in and rode in on his white horse and saved the day. And
I could only envision Roel on a white horse.
Right? Right. Genghis Khan on a white horse.
With Brian in tow.
Yeah, with a cheeseburger.
That's good.
And so we ended up saving the day and refocused the concept and brought it to the standard that I was proud of. And he kind of set me afloat and made me feel comfortable operating my restaurant again. And that was a really big turning point in the Fooq's career. And then halfway through my Fooq's career, during the whole time I had been working on the Sushi Noz project, I guess even since before Fooq's was a project. Halfway through that, I opened Sushi Noz about now 2.5, 3 years ago. And that opened to immediate success. We got a Michelin star in the first 3 months or 4 months of opening. Got named best sushi restaurant in the United States by Bloomberg. Number 1 sushi restaurant in New York by New York Magazine. Pretty much all the accolades that you could ever wish for, and collected a whole bunch of experience and street cred and new familiar friends and faces who are going to end up being really valuable in my life and in my growth. And Sushi Noz was able to repeat the Michelin star for a second year in a row, and we were really pushing for 2, if not 3. We had just gotten 2 stars in Wine Spectator, 2 cups in Wine Spectator this year for our list that had over 1,000 indications, sake and wine. I built a really crazy wine program, and the restaurant just kept kind of just going on this like upward trajectory, and the sales kept getting better, and the wait list kept getting bigger, and then we got hit by COVID.
As did everybody.
And we had to pivot. We started figuring out, what we could do and how we could survive. Obviously being an 8-seat, 14-seat if you want to get specific about it, but 14-seat counter-style dining restaurant in New York City was pretty scary. Mm-hmm. We had never done takeout. We had never done delivery. We had like a decent catering business that was like slightly built into the operation, but was for the large part kind of abandoned because people wanted Chef Noz, and Chef Noz had a job. So we kind of, after like closing down, Chef Noz got COVID like March 15th. As soon as he got COVID, he got really sick, and I got really scared, and we shut the restaurant. We paid the whole staff 2 full weeks of their salaries, and just kind of told everybody, like, here's what we can do. Have everybody on ice and hope, we come up with some way to make this work. And when Noz came back from his quarantine, kind of feeling re-energized, we started doing takeout, and we started kind of selling these salmon and tuna chirashi bowls, which we were putting in these kind of like whatever cheap-looking plastic containers that weren't very cool or, very exciting. And I remember having given a person whose opinion I really value dinner, and he kind of like sent it back to me and was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not Sushi Noz. Sushi Noz is the best sushi restaurant in America. It's not some takeout sushi joint. And if you are going to be takeout sushi joint, you make sure you do it great. So I kind of sat down with Noz and my brother, and I told them, guys, we've got to figure out a way to uphold the Sushi Noz brand values and give the experience that people are used to if we are going to do this. If not, we might as well just, pack it up, call it a day. So we started getting this really cool high-end packaging and diversifying the offerings, and started creating some cool different rolls. We made a lobster roll, sushi roll with homemade bouillabaisse. We made a really nice king crab roll with a homemade anchovy sauce. We started doing different kinds of futomakis and bara chirashis and all these different hand roll kits and uni kits. And little sooner or later, little did you know, we were doing like pretty much the same sales numbers that we were doing pre-COVID in the middle of a lockdown.
Right.
Which was pretty crazy. And for like a couple months there during the summer, we were getting catering requests every day in the Hamptons and in Connecticut and upstate New York, and just started going to people's homes and basically delivering the Sushi Noz experience to your home. And that kind of led us into where we are today. We had a little chance at indoor dining for 6 weeks and made the best of it, and got to get back to what felt like normal for a little bit. And during that time, the bakery next door to the restaurant, unfortunately for them, closed. And the landlord, who was our shared landlord, told us, listen, I have the space. I can give it to you for relatively cheap. If you guys want to move your delivery takeout operation into this space, I'm happy to do it for you. And you guys could have, we could have a mutually beneficial deal where, you guys are here short term. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to leave, you can leave. And Noz and I and my brother had always talked about the idea of finding a way to have like a fish butcher shop.
Right.
Find a way to move our product, which is relatively exclusive and pretty much all from Japan, or what isn't from Japan is from America, but treated using Noz's different kinds of aging, curing techniques that are kind of like proprietary to him, which you can't find anywhere. And we built what we're calling now Noz Market, which just opened 3 weeks ago now, which is basically our fish market, fish butcher shop that sells fish by the pound, as well as a front for our casual sushi concept. So we've had that ripping now, and that's been really cool for the Sushi Noz brand, and it's helped us kind of tap into another market, not have to spend $500 to come and experience the Sushi Noz experience. You go in there and spend $50 and leave really happy with some killer fish, and that's kind of where Sushi Noz stands today.
You spoke about Sushi Noz during the thing. Tell me about, because we spoke a little bit before we were recording, about the process of Fooq's during all this too, and how and why you decided to shut down Fooq's finally, and just do a pop up, because you're doing currently a pop up.
We've been doing pop ups. It was January to March was my best year-over-year 90-day period.
Me too.
By like 30%.
Yeah, me too. Fuck.
I was on pace to just blow anything out of the water.
I thought I was actually gonna be able to take a paycheck.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
I was like fucking ready to laugh my way to the bank until this shit hit. Actually, believe it or not, until like when I closed, I still had a line out the door.
But that's good. That's because
like
people like the
Hamilton
product.
was in the neighborhood, and we were doing like 100 covers on the Tuesday. It was madness. And I had to close, and I tried to do different things. I tried to get inspired by some of the people who I look up to, like Dan Barber at Blue Hill, and tried to put my team to work and do these cool different food boxes, pork boxes, beef boxes, pasta boxes, kind of meal kit type things. And that was okay. We sold a few, but not enough to pay the bills. And delivery was okay, but again, not enough to pay the bills.
Especially not when you're giving someone 30%.
Yeah, especially not when you're doing that. And after finally the government decided to show up,
yep,
where I think we were all pretty jazzed up about, I kind of a little bit upset that they couldn't figure out how to roll it out in the right way because I ended up spending all the money in a way that I didn't even need to spend it because they ended up changing the rules. But by the time they changed the rules, I'd spent all the money trying to abide by the rules.
Right.
So, they obviously dropped the ball on that front, but, at least they gave us a shot. And I tried to open, and basically, like, right after I opened, we got hit with BLM riots in the neighborhood. They started, blowing up cop cars and tear gassing the restaurants and basically mandatory shutting us down because there was, like, legitimate threats.
How many days in a row were you mandatorily shut down because of riots?
10 out of 20 days. We were mandatory shut down. And as you know, like, shutting down one day when you're supposed to be open and you have people on salary is obviously not even fun, let alone 10 when you're reeling off of having been closed for 3 months.
Right.
So that was kind of just like the last straw for me. I got tear gassed one night and I was just like, I have enough of this. I got to find a way to stick around because I know that I have something valuable here and something that's financially manageable in normal times. And I got government support that paid rent for a while. So at that point, it was just about finding a way to take care of my staff if I could. And if not, just finding a way to survive. So I started doing some talent scouting, and in came Roel, riding on his white horse again.
God, what a horse.
Right?
Jeez.
And he saved the day, and he introduced me to these guys, Little Laos, Curtis and Sakone, that were doing a really cool job selling Laotian food out of this place on 60th Street and 2nd Ave. And I walked into the kitchen one day and had a couple of his pieces of food and watched him work and immediately knew that this guy was just not getting the love that he deserved. And I gave him and his wife an opportunity to come and use my kitchen as a delivery-only takeout ghost kitchen. And it worked really well for 2 months, paid my bills, made him some money, made a cool friendship that, I actually ate there today for lunch and very excited for their success. And after a couple months of them ripping it, I took the kitchen back and did a few caterings that I had planned for the month of September. And then in November, I started another pop-up with a girl who was one of my first managers at Fooq, Lena Gujan. And during COVID, she was slinging pasta sauces by the courts, like little pasta kits in LA when she got let off her job at the Nomad. And she built a really cool little following, and I was kind of like Insta messaging with her the whole time, watching her, and she was watching me. And one day we decided that we wanted to do something together, and at that point I really had nothing to lose, and I needed to create a cost-efficient, more limited version of what we were doing at Fooq's. And Fooq's, we always had a lot of pasta and wine, and we were pasta wine focused, but it was never like what we really identified with. Natural wine and pasta. Wine always identified with, but we ended up doing that, and we've been running that for about 2 months now. It's been a hit. People love it. The pasta is ridiculously delicious. Gained 10 pounds in the first 3 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really bad for the gut. My
Right.
girlfriend
I can only
almost dumped
imagine.
me. Pop Rigatoni la vodka straight to the fucking veins.
I would do that.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
extra cheese.
Extra cheese. Why not?
And that's been running, and that's running through January 1st. And January 1st, I have a very, very, very exciting concept that I've created that I've been working hard on for the last few months that I can't yet divulge on.
Oh, we can't divulge. Listen, Pancon Podcast is where people divulge information.
Can't divulge yet.
Oh, man, this is horseshit.
But you'll have a follow-up.
Horseshit.
I can let you know that it's going to be the best of what it is in the city.
Okay. It's like, after the commercial break, we'll get more from David Foulquier. Jeez, fuck.
Yeah, I gotta save some
I know, we
exciting
gotta give
news.
something for the New Times to actually write an article about.
Right? Otherwise,
I mean,
Zach is gonna get really mad at me.
Nah, I mean, Zach is okay. It's all the other ones and all the other places that I can't stand. But, so that's good. I mean, what's
We're
not good.
sticking around. That's what matters.
That is definitely what matters, and I think through 2020 and 2021 is like the people who make it through the storm and that can weather the storm is the most important thing.
Yes.
Because if you're trying to make money, you're shit out of luck. If you're just trying
Maybe
to survive,
1% of the people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Florida is in a much better place, at least business-wise, than a lot of other places in the country, because other places have just been shut down.
Right.
We are not shut down. We are operating, and you had dinner here tonight.
Yeah, it was fucking fire.
Thanks. And we continue to do our thing, and hopefully, we can continue to do our thing. We've talked about this before over dinner. Privately, but the Michelin star thing was a big thing for you.
Yeah, it was a big thing for me.
And we've talked about it at length because it's also a big thing for me.
Right.
How did that feel?
Wow. That was next level.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing about the Michelin star was not as much the fact that I got it, but that my mom was able to be there when I got handed my Michelin star.
Amazing.
She ended up passing away like 3 months after. So, to have her be able to have Danielle actually was there and like tell her, how proud he was of her son and of her and both her son, because my brother's my partner at Sushi Noz, and I think he might be one of the youngest Michelin star recipients ever. He was 24 Amazing. When he got the Michelin star, or 25, something like that. I remember that day I got to shake Thomas Keller's hand, I got to shake Jose Andres' hand, I got to shake all these crazy people's hands and just like be in a room and like have my name up there with like some of my idols, and that was obviously a life career defining moment. I remember my girlfriend picked me up from the airport. I couldn't invite her to the dinner because I had like only limited amount of tickets to invite people, and she picked me up from the airport with like nice like Michelin Man sign, and it was
nice.
Like, it was really special, and I still to this day cherish that. But it was really cool and it was really inspiring, but when you get the taste of one Michelin star, it makes you even want more.
Oh no, I mean, I can only imagine. I often talk about probably the days that I've had too many of these cocktails that I'm having now. It's like if I have one, I'm just gonna like wrap it up. I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. Miami native, Cuban American kid. We can wrap up that 1 star. I'm good. But I know myself, and I know that I'll be like, but 2 sounds real nice.
Sounds real nice.
Yeah, like 2 sounds real nice. I mean, the goal is always 1. And like I told you when we had dinner that day, I mean, I can't tell you congratulations enough times.
Thank you so much, brother.
And I haven't actually been to Sushi Noz. I've only been to New York once in the last 2 years. And we ate at... what was it? It was something stupid like 14 places in 27 hours.
Savage.
I know. It was myself, Justin, and Gio, the Pastelito Papi himself, and we just destroyed New York in like just 20
Next time you come, we'll hook you up.
I know. I mean, it's obviously been on my list. I just haven't been back to New York since. So
hopefully, New York restaurants open again one day.
I mean, it's incredible to see kind of like the trajectory of places like New York, because it's not just they're shut down obviously for health concerns, but
if I really tell you how I feel about this, I might have like the NYPD on my back.
I mean, listen, I've had cops show up at this establishment because of the shit that I say on here, so don't be shocked, sir, by the things that end up in the ether by Pancom Podcast. But I will tell you that my feeling is that putting people out of business with no plan seems absolutely incredibly irresponsible in so many states. And like, you can outdoor dine in a state that's -6 degrees right now. Like, how the fuck? And it was, and it was
insulting to expect to use that as like a scapegoat. Like, nobody wants to eat outside when it's -6 degrees.
I know.
By the way, people are building these fucking pods.
Yeah.
That are like more dangerous than eating in a properly ventilated restaurant.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even...
The worst part about it is people are spending like tens of thousands of dollars building these pods, and then today we had like a foot snowstorm, and every single person had to take them down. Like,
it's just like...
Come on.
And
adding insult to injury.
I think about it, and I feel for those communities so much, because I know how hard we all work. And like how special those communities are.
I had to fire 10 people 3 days ago, man. 10 people who are like 10 of my most loyal employees.
Well, 10 people that help you get that star.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
You know,
My dishwasher has been with me since day one, and as a kid with cancer and came from Jamaica 4 years ago with hopes to be able to put his son through Sloan Kettering. By the way, best paid dishwasher in the United States. Guy works 65 hours a day and collects more overtime than anybody you've ever met.
if he wants to move to Miami, I have positions open.
I might take you up on it. Orlando, he was a sheriff in
amazing.
Jamaica, and he's the man. And I had to let the poor guy go. You know, it broke my heart, like, to know that, like, you know, this guy's not going to be able to put food on the table for his son. And, like, you know, at the end of the day, not that he's not smart or can't get other jobs, but it's hard, man. Like, everyone's, like, if this guy's unemployed, you know, it's...
I saw a stat today of, and it could be wrong. I'm sure Nick will fact check this sometime. Out of every 5 unemployed people, 1 of which is a restaurant employee.
I would have thought even maybe more.
It's a huge community. You know, it's a huge community of people.
I guess if you count all the tiers of it.
Yeah. I mean,
vendors and
forget about, like, from fine dining all the way to fast food. You know, and this shuts down so many people and so many things. And that's why, honestly, like, and I see a lot of editors and chiefs of all kinds of publications saying, like, all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, they're still pulling a fucking paycheck, and our employees are not.
Right.
And that is the truest statement I think I've ever said on this podcast. Because, like, I don't know, I have Twitter for 3 reasons. Sports, food, what's the third? I don't remember what the
Laughing
third.
at Donald Trump.
Politics, because I don't watch TV. So those are the 3 things, right? And the food portion of it is just all inundated with people, like, almost shaming restaurants for being open. And I look at them and say, what the fuck else are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
There's Roel on his white horse is not going to give us paychecks.
No.
You know, and Joe Biden and Donald Trump on their white horse are not going to give us any more fucking paychecks either.
I'll tell you, though, who does want to give us a paycheck.
Who is that?
City of Miami and Miami-Dade County.
Yeah.
Hey, they put out a couple grants that
I know, and we're on the grants too.
Yeah. I can tell you that that's more money that they've put on the table, whether it ends up in my bank account or not, that even New York State has put on the table. But yeah, man, it's like pretty crazy when you think about it, that states like New York and California are like not giving any support to restaurants and just leaving them on an island to die.
But Gavin Newsom was at the French Laundry 4 weeks ago and having dinner.
Having a blast.
Having a blast.
You know,
and Nancy Pelosi still gets her hair done, even
Florida,
though everything's
everybody
closed.
loves to laugh at Florida as a laughing stock because Florida, you know.
I mean,
but at least they're taking care of their businesses.
Or trying to. The thing is that there's
you can only do so much.
I know there's no easy answer to this.
No.
There is no easy answer. There's no, like, solution. There's no, like, cut and dry. We need to do this to be successful, to get rid of this problem and also survive. And then the other coin, you have people like, well, you just need to give us money. Oh, okay. So we need to give you money. But I don't know about you. I know for me, a lot of people that were in the industry that are now not in the industry because they're collecting unemployment are not coming back to work either. So there's a lot of difficulties of the whole situation. There's no cut and dry answer. There's no, like, positive to it.
No.
The only positive is, like, you were here. There was people here today that were dining. We're doing all we can to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, and you guys are lucky. You have this nice, beautiful outdoor area.
150%. And I've said that.
And by the way, for the record, I have closed indoor dining this whole time. I've taken it upon myself, which you have maybe a little bit of bigger space here. Like, Fooq's is 926 square feet.
Small, yeah.
And I have, 4 front of the house employees and 3 back of the house employees at the moment.
I mean, I'm 4 times the size of Fooq's.
Right.
So, and even the restaurant next door. And it's like, we're just incredibly fortunate to have such a gigantic patio.
Yeah, it's huge.
But
we have that too, thank God, which has allowed me to responsibly close indoor dining. But,
right.
Trust me, we all want what's best for our staff, like
right.
And for our guests. The last thing I want is to find out that, Fooq's was a super spreader event.
Right.
That some guy came and gave COVID to the whole restaurant and gave COVID to everybody who he came in contact with. So we're obviously doing our best, sanitizer on every table, opening the doors, putting in the HEPA filters, masked up servers, gloved up servers, spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on masks and hundreds of dollars on PPE equipment,
and gloves.
Everyone wants to be careful.
I know, because everyone wants to keep their job.
Yeah, everyone wants to keep their job, but like we also knew before COVID how important it was to be sanitary. So like people, yeah, of course you're gonna have like your restaurants that don't give a fuck and are just disgusting and dirty. But like anyone who works in this business with any sort of self-respect understands the idea of the highest quality of personal hygiene. We're in the service business. You know, we take food service tests and manager tests, and we need to know all the different things and all the reasons why we have to do things a certain way. So it's kind of insulting to the industry to just kind of just assume that we're just not going to follow the rules.
It's a hard move to assume that we are the problem.
Right.
And I go to the gym almost daily or every other day or whatever it may be, and it's like I see the people in there and I see the people operating those gyms, and I'm just like, man, we're the problem.
Yeah.
Like, and not just that, just overall, like,
how about airplanes?
Fuck me sideways. You mean the people that got the biggest bailout of anyone possible that doesn't need to pay back 90% of it?
Every seat is full.
I know. Do you want another cocktail?
I'm good. Got to drive home.
So it's like, I look at it and it's just like we employ so many people, and then at the same time you're also going to shut us down with no plan for the future.
Also employ people who probably can't get other jobs.
I mean, I don't know about you. I know for me personally, like, maybe I can get another job, but I don't really want another job.
I don't want another job.
And it's like, and I know a lot of people that this is their profession. This is what they do. Maybe the common person wouldn't think that this is an actual profession, but it is an actual profession that people take years to get very good at.
And go to school for.
I mean, there's layers to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an onion. Lots of layers.
Lots.
Right? And right now, I think the onion in lots of cities is fucking rotten. Because they're just casting these people aside and saying, and is there rent relief? Is there stimulus checks mandated by the state? I don't see any of those things. So also, and going back to my Twitter tirade, all these people that write about food are so easily, I guess, motivated to speak poorly about what we do, but also equally won't offer any solutions, and they won't. I don't know if they're going to donate their paycheck for your dishwasher that's out of work in New York that's been one of your best employees since day one. They're not going to do that either. And that's why we're in this really fucked state of the world. Right. Because it's like people can have all these opinions, but at the end of the day, we have to work, we have to make money, we have to do something to survive. Get her done. That's to put it lightly, yeah. You got to get her done. So, I don't know. I mean,
my restaurant group is called We All Gotta Eat.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah. I like that. We all gotta eat.
I came up with that during COVID.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. It's a line from a Grateful Dead song.
I'm not shocked by that.
You say it's a living, we all gotta eat.
Yeah. I'm not shocked that you picked a Grateful Dead lyric for, yeah.
Well, it's for me, it's like, it is so indicative, you know. It's like we all got to do what we got to do, and we got to take care. You know, this is my living, and I got to do what I got to do, and you got to respect that. I think that unfortunately we're in this rut, and I keep reading all these sad, articles of restaurant business being doomed forever. And we're losing loyal and faithful workers. We're never gonna want to work in the restaurant business. I'd love to think that that's untrue, but it is going to definitely just take out the legs of a lot of really good independent operators. Like, Miami hasn't seen, like, the full effect of the COVID reckoning yet. I think that, like, we'll definitely see a series of closures probably by the end of the season this year, because I think that, no matter what the perception is, everyone's moving to Miami and New York is moving down and New York, California is moving down. Not enough.
Well, I don't look at that as like a saving grace.
No, it's not. You can't. 70% of Miami Beach's tourism is international tourism, and there's zero of that right now.
Right.
So you do the numbers, you do the math. Maybe the places that were killing it pre-COVID are still going to do well, but if you were on the fringe or you were maybe just barely getting by, you're probably not going to make it.
Right.
In New York, I'm looking to expand my empire. Because I, unfortunately, with other people's demise comes opportunity. And, being at the end of the day a survival of the fittest as I think Darwin once said, we have to do what we got to do to survive. And if that means, taking advantage of the situation, if you're able to, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm seeing more and more restaurant opportunities for second generation, pre-existing institutions, places that weren't just getting by, places that were fucking
crushing it,
that were doing, $5, $6, $8, $10 million in sales in a year, that are just on the market for free. Right. All you have to do is sign a lease, albeit at 50% of whatever the price was pre-COVID, just knowing that, you had what it takes to last the storm.
Right.
And that's something that I've never seen in this business. Proof is I paid $100,000 for a set of keys that were probably worthless 6 years ago.
Right.
Today, that same deal would come for $0 in a place like New York, which could have never happened 6 years ago. So,
I think to your point, like, the idea of there being opportunity now is very factual. And what I tell people like you and I that are in the industry, I said, don't get the big googly eyes, right? You still got to be very fucking smart, right? Because every real estate person on the other side of the table, they're going to wine and dine you. They're going to fucking romanticize you. They're going to all that stuff. As soon as you sign that paper, they're going to want their fucking rent check every month. So sign a good lease, get a good fucking lawyer, make sure that you do your due diligence. Understand that romance is very different than business.
Oh, yeah.
I am a very romantic person.
I've spent more money on lawyers negotiating deals and leases than I've spent on anything else for the last 5 years.
And that's what money well spent.
Oh, yeah, dude. Those
money
guys
well
have
spent.
Saved me millions.
Saved you. Look at that's amazing. Thank you for someone else saying that other than me. Yeah. Saved you millions. You know why? Because they give you this like gift in a fucking all wrapped in beautiful big.
And you always want to rip their throats out because they're the ultimate deal breakers,
right?
But it's like they're doing you a fucking service.
But that lease, it's gotta be. You have to look through it through a fine.
I just got off the phone. I've been doing a deal in LA for Sushi Noz for it's been almost a year and a half that I've been working this deal. And right before COVID, we were like yay close from signing. And then COVID hit and the whole thing got shut down. The whole project got paused. And I kept following up. And all throughout COVID, they were telling me, like, hey, we'll get back to you. And finally, like when I stopped getting back to them, they got back to me. And we started the conversation again. And even when they give you exactly what you asked for, it's not exactly what you asked for.
I know. There's always a thing.
I spent 2 hours just destroying these guys on the other end. I swear this guy probably, when he sees that I'm calling the landlord or the landlord's rep, it's the worst part of his day. Because he knows that I'm about to microanalyze every last word and go down every single red line in a way that probably most people are just happy to get the deal. Even the sweetest deal ain't that sweet.
That's right.
There's always some guy in the back trying to stab you in the side of the neck and put you down for good. So I'm really grateful that you said that lawyer thing for anyone who's trying to be a restaurateur out there,
And it's just like, and I tell people all the time,
it hurts to spend it, but gotta do it.
You have to do it, and you have to be patient. That patience thing, because everyone wants everything at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to open my restaurant. I've been thinking about this restaurant for years. Like, it's going to be great. The food's going to be great. The service, and that's what you think about. But all the other things you don't realize could fuck you so hard down the road. And you're never, the restaurant business is, week to week. It's peaks and valleys. Every day it changes.
Dude, I negotiated the most ridiculous thing today. Concept of parking spots for some of the project not even going to open for another 2 years.
Amazing.
The question of how many parking spots are my staff going to get? How much am I going to have to validate for parking? Something so silly, you don't realize it, but if you're validating parking for all your guests at, $15 per guest and you're serving 50 guests a day,
you're still
talking about $750 a day in parking. You add that over the course of a year, you're talking about $200,000 a year in parking.
Fucking men!
I could buy myself.
I love that.
Buy myself a brand new Ferrari with that money.
Yeah, people look at it, it's like, well, it's only, $50 a day. Okay, so what's $50 a day times all the days in the year? Well, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
Do you want to lose that on your bottom line?
No thanks.
Oh, no, I don't. Then, man, so you have to renegotiate. You have to go back to the table. You have to tell them no.
No.
And it's just like people...
I told them, I said, that $150,000 means a lot more to me than it means to your billionaire developer ass.
Absolutely. But they get so many people that don't look at things like that. Yeah. They get so many... parking is a good one. Like we're in the final stages of negotiating a deal for the end of next year. And it's like, I mean, man, this deal has been raked over the combs, I'm telling you, at least 40 times.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Do it another 20 times. Do it another 20 times. Give me the deal that I want. You know why? Because right now I'm plenty busy and I'm okay. So if I need to wait another 6, 7, 8 months to get the deal that I want, then I'm okay. If they really want us to do this deal.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
That's correct.
It's a 15-year lease you're signing. It's not a 10, 15-month lease.
Well, but this is also the problem, and it's important that you mentioned the fact that, like, there's going to be a lot of opportunity now. But I think if a lot of the industry starts to jump in on that idea, like, and I've seen it, and I've said it, and people don't believe me, but they're going to give you the short and sweet lease, right? Here's a 2-year lease for, like, a fraction, right? Here's a 2-year lease, but then the option goes back to regular. Oh, does it? The option goes back to, what's regular? I was like, oh, it's $85 a foot plus triple net. Oof. Oh, man, $85 a foot plus triple net. Yeah, but I'll be fine by that time. How do you know you're going to be fine by that time?
What if we get COVID-22?
Right. What if, did you put a clause in the lease about COVID? Did you put a clause in the lease about a pandemic? Did you put clause in the lease about, I mean, I can go on forever. And I think that's when you start to lose people because they romanticize the situation. And I know it so well. And
because people want it. You can't blame people for wanting it.
I know, and that's what I was saying. Like, I understand it so well only because fucking 5 years ago, I was in the same boat. And I romanticized the situation, and I was like, man, I'll just do whatever it takes to just get this deal done. And I fucked myself 6 ways to Sunday getting there. But we have survived.
Everyone's got to get fucked once.
Yeah, I mean,
You only learn if you got fucked once.
Now in my life, I'd much rather just fuck the realtors.
Fool me once. Shame on me.
That's right. I think we're at a good place to start winding down, Nick. We do. We start doing.
You're the man, Beltran. I love talking to you. And thanks for supporting Fooq since day one too.
Always,
really,
always. And I look forward to.
You were one of the first and few chefs at the very beginning who were like, you know what, this kid's actually doing something cool.
I mean, you're actually like an intelligent, good dude.
Thanks, bro.
So it's like to find people like-minded, I think is tough. And we've had. Dinner outside of just talking about work, and I tell you all the time, it's just like I feel like sometimes I'm on an island, right? Because I'm so rough and callous when I approach business. But that's the part you need to be rough and callous about. Forget about every be romantic, be loving
with your girlfriend.
The food is what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, with your girlfriend also. But the business end, you need to be a fucking shark. You know why? Because you're in a pool with a ton of fucking sharks.
I don't want to get eaten up.
No, and I'm not going to get eaten up. So, that leads us to a place that it's just a lot of mutual respect and love. And I don't know what you're going to release on January 1st, and I don't know who you're going to tell about it.
Is this the part where we do the OnlyFans thing and we start making out?
We're not Bella Thorne, right? People aren't dropping serious coin for this, but. Maybe OnlyFans 2021.
I'm pretty good looking, Mike.
Me too.
Wow. You're selling this OnlyFans subscription really hard.
I'm telling you.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I
told you about my cousin, man.
I think we could get we can employ his cousin.
Hookup.
We can employ his cousin to be our agent.
Yeah.
And OnlyFans Pancom Podcast 2021.
I tell him I got his first client.
Done.
Everybody's got to start.
He's got a lot of tattoos and cornrows.
Gabagool. Hey. We're here.
But did you have something that you wanted to come back with after the fact? Think about that a little bit. Think about a question that you want to throw out at the very end. But right now, we're going to do all our regular wind down things. Later on, we will record a final question. And in order to get David Foulquier's... What's
For
up?
Patreon?
Yeah, for Patreon.
Oh, fuck.
Have a question for Patreon.
All right, I got it.
So there is a question. What's the
Patreon.
question? What's the question you're going to ask? Don't answer it. But what's the question? Let the people
but
know.
But people have to pay for this, right?
Yes. So they have to, but tell them what the question is. They have to pay for his answer. Oh, you don't have a question.
I
You
don't.
lied.
I don't.
You
All right,
lied.
let's do all the things.
Okay, there will be extra content. Patreon.com/DADEMAG if you want to get all the stuff that comes after this. But right now we're doing our regular wind down stuff. This is time for our parting recommendations, where everybody recommends a thing. It could be literally anything: a meal, a movie, a book, something that's not yours. Because we'll do shameless plugs later.
Yeah.
So anything at all that you want to recommend. It could be a trip, a restaurant, a documentary. People have recommended all kinds of things.
An OnlyFans account.
Your favorite OnlyFans account. The recommendation we always refer to let people know just how wide the range is that Joaquin Gonzalez, when he was on, recommended
my God, I can't believe you're bringing this
that
up.
if you must use a condiment to masturbate, the best one is mayonnaise.
I was about to say.
Makes sense.
The
Cosign.
words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's to give you a sense. I don't know if you want to go first, you can, or if you want to give yourself some
Sure.
time to think about it.
Sure. I recommend that in life, for me, the most important thing that I've ever done is to travel, as lame as that sounds. I recommend that whenever the world permits, you do everything you can to take that trip you always wanted to take.
Yeah.
Go see that place that you always dreamed of. Give yourself that gift, because something good's going to come of it. I don't know if you're going to meet someone that will be your forever friend or come up with some idea that might be your $1 million idea. Just go out and fucking live, man. This pandemic showed us we could have our liberties stripped away from us any second. And as lame as that sounds, I can't wait. I was lucky to travel a lot during the beginning parts of the middle parts of the pandemic. Taking a bit of a break right now, but I can't wait to go back to Japan and
I'd love to go for the first time.
Yeah, conceptualize my next Sushi Noz and just get back. This song, I have to recommend something.
Go for
else. Go to Burning Man.
Oh, Burning Man. That's right. David is
This
a big
song
Burning Man.
was my song of Burning Man
Was it?
2019.
That's just so perfect that it just...
I was riding a bike, and it was hot as fuck in the morning across the desert.
It's called Burning Man.
And I started needing shade really badly, and there's no shade.
It's a desert.
All of a sudden, I'm riding my bike, and this giant art bus starts driving past, creating this perfect shade for me as I cross the desert around 9 in the morning, bumping this song.
Oh, amazing.
And I just cruise. I have a video of my girl and me just cruising on the bike, listening to this song, and this is a song that every time I hear it just puts this big ass smile on my face. So.
Oh, I love that. Well, it's on the Ariete playlist.
There you go.
We are open 7 days a week, everyone.
What do you have to recommend?
Before I get into my recommendations, to double down on what you said, to travel. Beyond just traveling, I have taken a large portion of the year to learn things or start to attempt to learn things that I've always wanted to. And it could be music, it could be whatever it may be. And I think that something that's more evident than ever through this year has been that we're not promised shit. So, I mean, take advantage of the time.
Okay.
Take advantage of the time. Take advantage of,
Cheap flights.
Whatever it may be. Like, I've always wanted to learn how to play the sax. I'm going to try.
Wow, that's tough.
Who you telling?
Wow.
I'm aware.
I would pay to see that.
No one's paying for anything. In the dark, dark rooms of my apartment. So, just...
Pick it up, whatever it is. Just do it.
Yeah, and I've taken a large portion of the year to do
That was
things.
actually my 2020 New Year's resolution is do something that you didn't ever do before.
Yeah, for me, boxing was a big thing there. Like
I see her kicking ass in the gym,
I don't know about kicking ass, maybe getting my ass kicked, but I am there,
packing a punch.
And just like the whole world of boxing and the art of boxing has been
you
something
become
that
fit as a fiddle, bro.
I don't know about fit as a fiddle, but I'm fitter than I used to be.
Making me look like fucking.
So
me look like shit.
So I think in this year, it's just like it's important to realize those things that you always wanted to do, just do them. And it doesn't mean making sourdough for Instagram. It means a lot of other things too. So, parting recommendations.
Yeah.
Fuck. We just did this.
I mean, maybe that's your recommendation, though. Learn a thing. He said go to places. You're saying learn a thing.
I'm sure. Yeah, learn a thing. Learn a thing is good.
Play the sax.
We already talked about Stanzione subs, right?
Yeah.
I recommended that. I would recommend Arbetter's sauerkraut hot dog.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where's that
Arbetter's.
at?
It's on 87th and Bird.
Yeah.
87th
Bird.
and Bird.
Yeah.
I would recommend the Arbetter's sauerkraut hot dog mustard on the side because I'm a mustard on the side guy, and the chili cheese fries are exceptional. I also would recommend, along with that, getting a croqueta at La Floridita. That's out very far. Do you know which one it is? That's down south by the Temiami Airport.
Yeah. Close to
That
Airport.
croqueta only, I would say, it shook me at my core.
Wow.
It did.
Jeez.
It shook me at my core. The only other croqueta to have that kind of impact on me is Eileen's family's croqueta at Isla Canaria.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it's because they were out of croquetas and they made them fresh. But man, it shook me to my core, and we ordered 4 and I ate 2 of them.
Were they ham and cheese croquetas?
They were just ham, and they were fucking delicious.
Wow.
And it was crazy because it's in the middle of nowhere down there in like Kendall, like super deep West Kendall.
Did you pick up a thing or two and nail it when you got home?
No, I didn't. I want to go back and eat more. We're not in the
Research and development.
Yeah, that's what it is. Research and development. So I would recommend those 2 things.
Cool.
That's it. That's all I got.
If I had to recommend any food
Yeah,
for
sure.
anybody out there, go to Little Louse. I know I mentioned them earlier. I had it for lunch again today. They're delicious.
Recommend what to eat there.
I do my classic order, beef jerky. It's like homemade beef jerky with like a nice spicy dipping sauce. Crippy rice, which is a very traditional Persian thing that they kind of created when they were at Fooq's, and they did their version of it.
Cool.
So it's like a nice like crispy fried rice situation. Chicken wings. They got like a tamarind glazed chicken wing that's outstanding.
Oh, man, I love tamarind so much.
Oh, so good.
So good.
And their pork ribs are outstanding. Little kind of like riblets.
Oh, I'm gonna go
Like
there.
break
This is
down.
good.
And these like really good like sweet tapioca dumplings. I think if you hit those 4 or 5 items with a papaya salad, wash it down with a beer lao, the best Asian food in town.
I just went to Yakusan for first time in a while.
Yeah, always a good one.
Still holds up. I mean, the
Try
service,
this one. You're gonna thank me later.
The service was absolute fucking trash, but the food was still very good.
Yeah, these guys are pros.
Yeah, the food was still
Been
very
doing
good.
it for some time now.
Yeah, I mean, Yakusan is still like that thing. You
Yeah,
know?
it is.
So I'll leave it at that, Nick.
Very good.
All right.
I'll make a recommendation.
Do your recommendation.
My
for
one
me.
recommendation, because I'm still trying to make up with for 2 episodes ago, so I'm going to be brief because 2 episodes ago I went on forever. We've talked about, Mike, that people may not peg you for a sci-fi fan.
I am a sci-fi fan.
My equivalent is people are often surprised to learn I'm a country music fan.
Wow, the one music I can't stand.
And I was on my way here. I was listening to an old in the sense that it's just not new. It's not like an old album, but the Garth Brooks album Sevens. It's a very good album.
Heady shit.
Sevens by Garth Brooks. What I love about it is that there is some like very, I don't know if I'd call it heady, but like very well written, sort of, profound music in there. And there's other stuff like Cowboy Cadillac, which is also very good.
You listen to country music.
I do. And this is why, because when my mom used to drive me to school, she wanted to put something on the radio where there were
Cubans for Trump is also a thing.
Well, no, but this was she actually didn't like country music either. But then she realized that the country music station was the only one that didn't have dirty jokes in the morning show. So when she was driving me to school, it was like there was Power 96, and that wasn't an option, and there was and of course I ended up listening to all that shit anyway. But I ended up just being a really big Garth Brooks fan.
Man,
Nothing wrong with country music.
You got to give it a chance. There's good stuff.
I guess.
I'll send you some things. I think
Send
you'd
me
like
some stuff. I can't wait to just
some of it's like
not want to listen to
like.
it.
Are you into blues?
Yeah, blues is my thing.
There's some like very bluesy country out there.
Yeah, but blues and country are different.
I didn't say it was the same. I said it was.
But you
very
can't have
bluesy.
bluesy country. It's
Sure you
either
can.
country or blues.
You can have
Of course you can.
country.
Oh man,
What are
we're
you
about to
talking
dive
about?
into a whole.
I'll send you a thing.
podcast
I'll
here,
send you
guys.
some things.
Hook me up.
So
Nick.
anyway, that's
Hook me up. Send it
that's
to David.
That's
also.
that's the
It'll
recommendation.
be on the playlist at Sushi Noz next year.
Shameless plugs. Just tell everybody where they can find you online. You and all your stuff.
You can find me Instagram at David Foulquier, Fooqs. Find my restaurants at Fooq's Miami, at Sushi Noz NYC. Yeah, that's where you can find us.
Shameless plugs. Michael Beltran.
All the things.
Very good. You can find him on all the things. And then at Bangkong Podcast on all the social media things. DadeMag.com/
I have to say, I was pretty jealous that this thing was like happening for a bunch of time and that I wasn't invited on it. So
The music.
Hey,
big ups, Carluba. Thanks for the invite.
big ups, Carluba. So, yeah, I mean, I think we had brought up with Carluba inviting you a few times. And then he was kind of dragging his feet a little bit. And I think also he had brought it up with you, but you travel a lot more than
Yeah,
most
I
of our
do,
guests.
I do.
Most of the people we wanted to have on were like easier to pin down.
Right.
A man of the world, David Foulquier.
the world's
What
guy.
that should be the title of your book.
Hey,
A man of the world.
Man of the
I
world.
like it.
Yeah.
So
I'll always be here
DadeMag.com
anytime you need me.
/Bangkong Podcast. Onlyfans.com /Bangkong Podcast.
I love it.
But actually, patreon.com /DadeMag.
All inquiries, David at FooqsMiami.com.
That'll be the talent search right there.
Serious inquiries only, please.
Yeah. No, you got to be serious.
And that's it. And if you are a Patreon person listening to this on Patreon, you can hear beyond this point and whatever question it is that Mike Beltran has
Fuck, I don't know.
for David.
Fucking A.
It can be literally anything. It doesn't have to be a good question. Just a question.
Okay. 10 minutes on. In your experience in Miami and also having a place in New York, what are the fundamental differences between being a restaurateur in New York and being a restaurateur in Miami?
That's actually a really good one.
I got to take a leap.
I knew you
though.
could do it.
I got to take a leap.
That thump you just heard, that was my pen ass hitting the bottom of the table.
Now on 1210 The Man, Romberg's Penis hits the bottom of the table.
That's going to be our 1210 The Man promo on like every episode.
That was fantastic.